We are Journals Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teenagers. And we are here to answer all of your teen questions. Or whatever else you want to talk about. It can be about teens. It can be about someone who once met a teen. Think about people that really don't care for teens. People that go out of their way to avoid teens. It's really a show for everyone. Have I described you? Excellent. You're in the right place. So we have a very special guest with us in the studio tonight. Please cut to Michael Imperioli.
Thank you.
Michael, you were once a teen.
I think so.
All right, so you're going to... The theme is okay? You're comfortable?
No, but I'll still stay.
Completely uncomfortable, but
I don't care much for teenagers. I have two of them.
Do you let them sleep indoors?
On occasion. Weather permitting.
Weather permitting. I like it. All right, so is the camera... Can we see any of his children if we cut to them? We've got Vadim. Vadim Imperioli is right here.
Hey.
Yes, and we've got David Imperioli. I don't know if you can see David Imperioli, but maybe later in photographs. So so Michael, what kind of a teenager were you? Or if I knew you in high school, like how would I have defined you or described you to my friends? Like, hey, do you know this guy, Michael? He's
I was a good student and a soccer player. And I had, friends in different kind of circles,
You moved around.
Yeah, but I couldn't wait to get out of high school and not be in high school. I liked high school, but I was, biding my time till I could get out.
So you weren't afraid of growing up. You were like, bring this, let's do it.
Oh, yeah, I was ready.
That's kind of cool because a lot of kids write to me and they say, I don't want, my child is going by too fast. I like my childhood. I want to still sleep with my stuffed animals. You weren't that guy?
You don't have to give up your stuffed animals to grow up.
Oh, that should be on a pillow right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would hug a pillow that said that.
Or a stuffed animal.
Or a stuffed animal that said that.
Yeah.
I didn't have any, so I wouldn't know. But I don't think you have to give them up. But I was ready to move on, and I went to after high school. I studied acting at an acting school, and I was in class with adults. Some ages ranged from I was 17 up to like people in their 50s. So it was pretty fascinating to all of a sudden be with adults and who were pursuing acting. It was a lot of fun.
And you felt like, now I'm home. This is me. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I did. I mean, it was very scary and to put yourself out on the line that way, as and try to be an actor. But I did feel comfortable. Yeah, there's something about the freedom and the artistic expression of it that really appealed to me.
Was it easy or difficult for you to talk to girls?
In high school, it was kind of difficult, but as soon as high school was done, it got much easier.
Did you take any classes in that, or
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Just kind of watched. All right, I see how this is
No,
done.
it was kind of like getting loose of the whole high school structure and thing. It was somehow as soon as I was out and in the real world, I don't know. I think just seemed more at ease with all that.
Well, there's that whole thing where everyone thinks you're this guy, and so it's almost like being with family, where they expect certain behaviors and they've known you. I don't know if you stayed in the same neighborhood as you grew up, but then when you've known people since kindergarten, it's like you can't do anything without everybody going, "Oh, he thinks he,"
Yeah, there's part of that. And my high school was, I think it was about 1,000 kids, so it was kind of a middle-sized high school. But yeah, and everybody knows everything there. I mean, it's a very, very small little pond, I mean, and then all of a sudden I was about an hour north of New York City where I went to high school. And then I was in New York City right after high school, and it was very, very, very different world.
And you were ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. So now you are a father, and do you find yourself comparing what you were like at the age of your children?
Oh yeah, all the time.
What does that feel like?
You still have to separate who you were as a teenager and your responsibilities as a father, And you have to understand where they're at, but you still have to set boundaries and rules and things like that.
Do you think that in order to be the parent of teenagers, you sort of have to callous over how raw it felt to be a teenager?
Yeah, and that's a really good way to put it, Weezy. You have to callous over it because you have to. There are boundaries and there are parameters and there are lessons to be learned, and sometimes it's very often tough love, and your heart can be breaking, but you still have to kind of point them in a certain direction because you are the discipline, that you are those boundaries, you are you are that guide. You're not a friend, really. I mean, I remember meeting someone who, I was a stepdad when I was 30, right? So my stepdaughter was 5 when we met and got together. It's my boy's older sister, who's 26 now. And I met someone who was about to be a stepmom. I said, how do you feel about being a stepmom? And she said, well, I just want to be her friend. And I said, well, you're not a friend. You're a parent. Even though you're not her mom, you're her stepmom, but you're a parent. You're a parental figure. There's a difference. You can have fun. That doesn't mean you can't be pals and do stuff together. I don't mean that, but it's not a peer relationship. And until you're adult, and you can relate on a certain adult level with a kid, it's not a peer-to-peer relationship.
Yeah, and we often say on the show that the right thing is often the hard thing.
Exactly.
It's easier to be a friend and to say, have some more candy. But the right thing is to have your kid mad at you and say, these are my milk duds.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Or
not everybody agrees with me, but that's the way
no,
I've
because
done
there's big fans of milk duds who are... Is someone leaning on the light? Is it you, Jilly? There, I've just said your name on the show. Do you feel shamed? Because that's not what I wanted. I really just wanted to tease with love. So, Michael Imperioli, do you ever Google yourself?
I look up stuff when I have projects coming out to see sometimes reviews and ratings and stuff. I've done that kind of thing.
Okay, because we were looking for a photo of you to post out on Facebook, and your kids were in the room, and it was terrifying when you clicked on Michael Imperioli images, and the whole screen filled up with wallpaper of your face, and the kids cowered. I mean, they were literally shaken. There's a lot of you on the internet. You're there.
Well, if you're in show business
It's
for a long enough time, you have, you do a lot of projects and you're at a lot of openings and still photos from sets and stuff. There's, they just dump all that stuff into cyberspace.
Ultimately, they selected the picture that we put on Facebook, so because they know their dad.
Okay.
Youngsters, have you ever Googled Michael Imperioli? Because one of the interesting things that I found when I Googled Michael Imperioli was a site called Brainy Quote. And these are all things that you've said, Michael.
Well,
Wow.
supposedly.
Yeah,
First of all,
allegedly.
You should never really fully believe anything you read on the internet. Like the very first thing, it says James Michael Imperioli. Now, my name is not James. It never was ever James.
David told me this.
But somehow on Wikipedia, that's what they put. They have my wrong high school. So take what you read on the internet with a grain of salt, because like Wikipedia and all that stuff, very often people go on and change stuff around and they don't really know what the hell they're talking about.
I would think that would have been fact-checked by all of the other
You would think,
Wikipediaites.
but it isn't. There you go.
Wow.
It's because
So-
I changed it. They trusted me.
So,
It's the son.
so keep that in mind. Keep
So-
that in mind.
So one of the quotes that I love from Brainy Quote is Michael Imperioli allegedly said, boys, he may not have, "My family is my life, and everything else comes second as far as what's important to be Michael Imperioli."
Yeah. I felt like that at one time. Yeah, I did.
Another thing you should know about... Yeah, that was yesterday. And then you really disappointed me.
Yeah.
Another thing about Michael Imperioli is he is an Emmy winner. And we brought a clip. And usually the guest brings a clip, but on this show, we bring the clip. So we brought a clip, and do we have that clip, Matt? This is Michael Imperioli winning an
Blair
Emmy.
and I are honored to present the award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series.
The nominees are Steve Buscemi, The Sopranos,
Can you believe that you beat these guys?
Brad Dourif, Deadwood, Victor Garber, Alias,
No way are you going to win.
Michael Imperioli, The Sopranos,
It's not in the cards.
And John Spencer, The West Wing.
No, see,
John passed away.
I know.
And the Emmy goes to Michael Imperioli.
I did not see that coming.
Oh, and then I shake Al Pacino's hand
What?
right before I go up. He was right there. That was Al. Al was my childhood idol. Kind of the reason I became
What
an
a
actor.
night. That was thrilling.
That was thrilling.
So, Vadim, how old were you when that all went down?
I don't know.
When that allegedly, according to the internet, happened?
Probably 6.
I remember watching it on TV with my sister.
Get really close to the microphone when you speak.
Hey.
You did watch it on TV?
Yeah, I watched it on like public access or something. No, I mean like, well, never mind.
You watched it on the television with. Well, you don't know what channels are when you're 6.
No.
It's just the big magic box that tells us our dad is going to come home with a statue. Don't play ball in the house. All right. Oh, do we have any questions?
So did you kind of know that you wanted to be an actor when you got out of high school, or when did you know?
The last year of high school,
Okay.
I made that decision pretty much. I started reading a lot of plays in the library at my school, and then when I finished high school, over that summer, I really said that I think that's what I want to do. Period. I was maybe going to study pre-med or something, but I said, well, if you can only choose one thing in your life, what it would be, and I said, well, that would be an actor. So that's what I pursued. And
then you were all in.
Pretty much, yeah.
And how much work is it? How hard is it for everyone out there who wants to be an actor? You can't dabble. You have to.
Oh yeah, no, it's really, you have to be pretty obsessed and pretty deluded to think that you're special enough to be able. Because there's a lot of talented people. Talent is not rare, I don't think. But you have to really persevere and deal with a lot of rejection. At least I did, and a lot of the people that I know that went the same route as me. And you have to be really patient, you know. But I mean, if you really want to do that, then you should, you know. But if you have other things that you feel strongly about or as strong, maybe you should do that, because it's really, really hard. I mean, I have friends who, you know, have been doing it as long or longer than me, and some of them don't make a living, you know, and they're fantastic. You know?
Do you, when some of your friends get a really good break before you do, are you happy for them, or are you kind of feeling a little jealous?
Oh, way back when?
Yeah.
Well, way back when, it's very scary because there's also a fear that it'll never happen for you, you know? So sometimes it's a little hard to, that, you know, jealousy is natural in those situations, you know, because it's scary, you know, to think, well, maybe this will never happen, you know? And sometimes you feel that way.
Yeah, because John Spencer, he looked really thrilled for you, but I don't think...
I did a play with John years before that clip, you know, so I knew him a long time ago.
I love The West Wing.
We worked together,
I
he
love
was a
him.
great actor,
Yeah.
really great actor.
Everything's great about that. So we're going to jump into questions. Are you ready to give some support and wisdom and guidance to the young people? Michael?
I am.
Vadim,
If
headphones
it's
in place,
possible.
ready to do this?
Sure.
Ryan, would you please read the first question from Maddiness?
I would love to. Recently, I had my first boyfriend. It lasted a little over 2 weeks. He was angry I wouldn't have sex with him that soon, so we decided to cut it off. Apparently, he was trying to get with my close friend before me, but she didn't tell me. Now my friend is going over to his house, hanging out with him a lot, and sending really flirty messages. I talked to her about it and said that seeing them flirting not a month after we broke up is hurting me, and could really hurt our friendship. She just said, "Wow, no one wants me to be happy." I feel upset because she's supposed to be a close friend. What should I do?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Lyric?
Yeah, I mean, so I think, like, this whole thing of, wow, no one wants me to be happy is really not, like, nice. Like, she's not, first of all, thinking about, like, the girl code, which is that you don't date someone or, like, flirt with someone who your friend has already dated. And, I mean, it's just, like, I feel like a friend would know that already. But also for her to be like, wow, no one wants me to be happy. Like, it's not about you here. It's about your friend who has just gotten over a breakup with someone, and it's kind of like you're thinking about you being happy. Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like wrong in this situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, and I agree with that, but also in the long run, I think the more important thing to highlight is, like, props to you for not staying in a relationship with someone who was pushing you to do things you weren't comfortable with, and don't forget about that. Carry that into your next relationship, even if it causes you pain now. That's important to make sure you're not doing things that you're not comfortable with.
And that you're proud of the decision that you made.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like when she's going to make it all about her, that's when I need to ask you, is this the first time she behaved this way? Or if you really think about it, was there a pattern of her seeing things through how it affects her, rather than really listening to a friend saying, I'm in pain, and I'm wondering if you can help me understand why this is happening, and then them immediately saying, wow, you don't want me to be happy, because that's really jumping to a conclusion that has nothing to do with what was discussed, Victoria.
You know, it kind of also seems like she might also be kind of getting back, because the guy was already trying to be with her friend already, and then once he figured out he couldn't be with her, he dated her friend, and then, you know what I mean? Like, and then he goes back to her. It kind of seems like she was getting back at him, or he was getting back at her.
Okay, yeah, there could have been a lot of revenge-y types of things going on. Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said so far, and I think with what Lyric said about the girl code, if anything, like, I think that the girl who just got, like, broken up with or broke up with this person is the one that is breaking it, because originally he was going after the friend, and she got with the guy. So, I mean, I don't understand why the girl would be in the wrong in this situation, because she's the one who wronged her friend in the first place.
I mean, I just think that everything's kind of wrong with this situation.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's just not like, it seems like it's a lot of this gossipy, like, not gossipy, but like, you know, a lot of like weird back and forth stuff. And this guy just seems kind of like bad news, kind of. But yeah, did you?
Well, I was just going to say, like, I don't really agree with the code concept. Like, I think there's just respect you have for people you're supposed to care about, but no one owes anyone anything. And just hopefully, like, you're friends with people who will look out for you. But it is like kind of a cold thing to say, but it's just you and everyone else, and you don't owe anyone anything, and no one owes you anything. I know that's kind of cold, but
I think we owe each other a certain amount of respect, and
you can't expect it is maybe a better way to put it.
Right, but you should also kind of look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with and say, are they worthy of the respect that I would like to show people, and are they showing it in return? Because if you can't make a simple statement to your friend about something that hurts your feelings or makes you feel sad without her immediately jumping to how it affects her, those kinds of conversations get really twisted really fast. If that's the salvo that she returns with, you're protecting her feelings when that wasn't really what you came in the door doing. Michael, I see you're no, you're like, I don't want.
I'm listening.
Lyric.
The last sentence is, I feel upset. I just feel upset because she's supposed to be a close friend. Yeah, she's supposed to be a close friend, but she's not being a close friend. I mean, maybe you aren't either, like what Josh is saying, but like, I feel like you guys really need to take a break or kind of stop this friendship, because neither of you are like, this is a weird mess that's kind of happened over this guy, and I think just like taking a step away from it, or you don't have to necessarily be like, we're done, but like just being like, I think we should take a little break because this is weird.
Yeah,
like, I don't want this to be.
Summer's a great time to do that. You know, you just kind of get busy and just say, let me get some distance, because the two things that heal are time and space, and you know, you give yourself a little of those two things and some perspective to look back on what happened and maybe how you played a role in this getting so ugly so quickly, and you know, just surround yourself with people who really listen when you tell them you're upset. The next question, Josh, from Caleb Lucas.
Caleb Lucas. I'm trying to plan a first date for my girlfriend and I. She's 13 and I'm 15. However, there are some problems. Neither of us can drive. She doesn't want people to know we're dating. We live in a small town. It'd be hard to find a place where our parents won't stay, and it can't cost a lot. Any suggestions?
Nintendo Wii. Vadim.
If you're trying to find a place to stay, I just want to know, like, what kind of activities they're thinking they're going to get up to, or whatever. It seems kind of shady, this person, but just go to the movies, go to places that are dark where people can't see you, I guess.
I mean, you're assuming that they want to get up to something, but they may simply just want some privacy, just because everyone's looking, going, oh, isn't that cute? And they don't, you know, they kind of don't want that sort of parental observation.
where do you go for that? What seems like
The library.
library?
Oh, yeah.
No one will ever suspect.
I'm reading a book, guys, okay?
the library. That's perfect, Victoria.
Or the park.
Yeah.
There's a picnic.
The park.
I was going to say. That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Because, like,
Park is good.
I mean, and usually in parks, there's, like, an area, like, where, like, behind a tree, I don't know, or, like, places. Sorry, that sounds really shady, too. Behind a tree.
Trees are often shady.
Boom.
Ta-da.
Puns are fun.
Yeah. Where's Brady when you need
No,
him?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think a park is a really good place, and you can have a picnic. That's cute. That's always cute.
That
and
would be
like
cute.
if you, like going to a restaurant, your parents are probably going to be peeping in through the window, and parks are safe generally. I mean, especially if you live in a small town. So yeah.
Also, there's not that much privacy that you're going to get when you're dating a 13-year-old or that you should
Yeah.
get when you're dating a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just everyone's kind of at that age where parents are just like, is everyone okay? So if you want to go to a movie and sit in a separate row than your parents, then you can feel like you're kind of having a little bit of your own moment. Josh?
Yeah, I agree. I think like if you look at all the qualifications you've given, if you take away where your parents can't stay, there's a lot more places that open up. I think that you should just get over the fact that your parents are going to be there. You're young. Get used to it for the time being. Lyric?
Yeah, I mean, like I think just having a place that's not like too secluded, because then your parents will feel like it's more safe. Like, okay, I get if you don't want to go to a roller rink because there are going to be people around, but like going, to like some place that like no one is around can also be kind of weird. So finding something that's like a balance, which I think, a park or like public, but not like
Or like,
really public.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Victoria.
You also want to keep your parents' trusts and not, like, dating in secret is a little dangerous.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not going to let you date anymore if something else happens. Lyric?
Yeah, and also like your ages are a bit like far apart, because 13 is probably still in middle school and 15 is, in high school, like first or 9th or 10th grade. So, I mean, like your parents may also be worried about that just because it is a little bit of an age difference. But yeah, good luck.
The next question is from Anonymous. I've noticed that after I hang out with friends, I get really depressed and tired more than I usually am. Is this because I'm an introvert? So before I throw to you guys, I just want to say that I think that kids have been doing a lot of looking up their own personality types online.
Yep.
Is that right, Ryan?
Yep.
Yeah. And so even if you are an introvert, I mean, it's great to be able to define yourself and say, oh, I'm this and my friend is that and my favorite color is blue and I enjoy Coldplay. I mean, you can know as much about yourself as you'd like to, but it doesn't mean that it isn't a fluid situation and that you won't go through periods where... Anyway, Ryan, help me out here.
Well, no, you're exactly right, and people tend to want to put labels on a lot of different things. And I think you should ask yourself, like, why do you want to know? Because, like you said, that, oh, your favorite color is blue. Is that so the next thing you buy is blue, or is that so you can just announce that to the world? So with the introverted, extroverted thing, do you want to be aware of this so that you can make choices for yourself that are going to be more fulfilling and make your days more constructive, or is it just something you kind of want to label yourself with? What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I think it's that they're wanting to be like, what should I do? Is this normal that I'm like feeling depressed after being with people? Because, I mean, some people would be like, what is wrong with me? Do I just hate people? So I think like this is actually really good for you to know about yourself, because like even extroverts, like I'm an extrovert and I need time to myself, like I just, sometimes if you're out being with people all the time, you're like tired and stuff. So I think if you know this about yourself, knowing, okay, I can go hang out with people and then spend some time for myself because I need that. I think it's good to know that about yourself. Just don't be like, I'm an extrovert, so I'm an introvert, so I can't hang out with anyone. Like definitely don't take it to that, Josh.
Yeah, exactly what Lyrics say. Don't like move forward because you've found out this thing about yourself. I think answering your specific question, in my personal opinion, and I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, is this because I'm an introvert? I actually think it's because you're an extrovert. I think that you expend all of your energy when you're with people, and when you're not with people, you get depressed and tired. So, Victoria?
Wow, Josh, that was so good. I love that.
I don't know.
Well, but that was an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Victoria.
Yeah. It could also be what Josh said, except they said, notice that I hang out with, after I hang out, never mind. Go ahead. I was about to say, like, maybe they just like to say stuff, and then their friends are not letting them say anything.
Wait, what?
I mean, it can't. You know what? Being social can be exhausting.
It is.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yes.
'cause, like, I will tell you, after you guys leave on Tuesday nights, I'm just like,
Let me go to bed.
you know,
Sorry.
because it's like you put everything into it because people mean everything to me, but I need a ton of time alone because I probably am an introvert. But it's not an excuse to not try and to not do things that are socially kind of scary and to not push yourself to the next level. Like, Vadim, would you say you're an introvert or an extrovert if you're thinking about it?
I don't know. I would kind of agree with this quote, this question, because I feel like the kind of person who can be extroverted at times, but I get a lot of like social tiredness when I've been around people for a while, and you just need to take that time off. Like, this person sounds like an extroverted introvert, like somebody that spends a lot of time with others, but just needs to go back and like focus on themselves.
And take the time. And it's okay to take the time to do that.
Yeah, I
Lyric.
was going to say, like, it's healthy that you're like, I need some time to myself. Because if you were just always going, then you would never know, okay, I kind of need to calm down and be with myself right now. So I think that it's just really good that you're in touch with, you know, how you feel and stuff. And yeah.
I often feel that I know myself best through the time that I spent alone just thinking about things. Because when you're being social, you're really trying to make other people feel comfortable, and you're not really understanding yourself because you're involved in a social interaction which has so many different layers to it. And then when you're just enjoying some solitude, you can think, oh, I think I'm a person who thinks this, and then you can relive or rethink the conversations that you had or the ideas that you expressed and think about them more and flesh them out and go like, yeah, that is really one of my philosophies. I do feel that way, and let me elaborate on that. What do you think you are, Michael?
You know, it depends on the situation. I don't think it's one or the other, you know, that defines me, you know. I mean, I spend a lot of time alone. I like that, but I also, you know, I have a lot of friends, and, you know, acting, if you're in movies or television or theater, is a very collaborative, you know, way of life. So, you know, you're part of a team, you know, so that's, you have to be somewhat out there and dealing with them. So
and what happens after your face becomes well known and you could be at a restaurant with your kids and someone would approach you? Do you enjoy that or not so much?
Well, first of all, it depends on the person coming up to you, because some people are great and nice, some are creeps, and some are idiots, and, you know, depends. Some are in between. But in the beginning, when it first started to happen a lot, it was a bit disconcerting. It's a little strange, you know. But you know, you get used to it after a while.
What do you think of it, Vadim, when someone approaches your dad? Because you've grown up with that.
I'm not sure, really. I don't know. It just kind of is.
We probably have this sort of curiosity of like what your kids are like, so they probably are staring at the kids more than kids really enjoy being stared at sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with being with kids in public, when they were small, I would never really take pictures with people if I were with my kids, and I tell them that, and most people would understand that. If I'm alone, I don't, you know, care. You know, I don't mind. But some about you have to have boundaries too, even in public. If you're with your family, there's, you know, family time. I would never go up to somebody famous who was with their family and bother them. If they were alone, maybe I'd approach them, maybe, but, you know, but some people feel that, you know, they can do that when it's not a big deal. But it depends on the person. Every situation is different. Like, every person is different.
Right. And if it's like something where everyone's there with a lot of kids, then that's different. Like if it's a school thing and everyone's got their kids, then it's like, oh yeah, we're just
that's more
mingling. All right, let's move on now that we've analyzed our personalities. Lyric, I know you like medium-sized questions,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
would you
thank
read
you.
the last question on the first page?
I'm spinning. Okay. My boyfriend's sister and mom do not like me. I tried getting along with them, but they don't even try, so I gave up. It's very draining to try to impress people who have their mind made up already. I'm tired of my boyfriend always taking their side because all they do is talk about me and our relationship, and he's always saying it's not his problem, they don't get along with me. It's basically his family versus me. And he keeps saying he thinks I'm taking his family away from him. What do I do?
Any thoughts, Ryan?
You have to talk to both parties about this, and you can talk to them about it separately or together, but you have to, because it's great you understand the situation now and how people are feeling and like what they're giving off, but then you have to try and understand where they're coming from and what you can do to actually improve the situation, and that can only come from talking to the people involved. Why your boyfriend thinks that you're taking his family away from him, you have to ask him, and you have to be open to the answers you get and then try and actually work with those and understand them. And it's not an argument, it's really a conversation, trying to understand the person better. Lyric?
I mean, like, it would be one thing if his family were mean to you and then he's taking your side, you know, and being like, oh, like, I got this. I'm sorry if you have to see my family. I'm sorry that they're like this. But the fact that he's on their side and he's your boyfriend seems really weird to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like him saying that you're taking him away from his family, like, shouldn't it all be one kind of thing?
Well, it should be, but don't you like it should be? That's kind of the problem. But don't you think that that his family also has some like justification in how they're feeling, and so he has some responsibility to both his family and his girlfriend?
Yeah, but I feel like he's only like paying attention to his family and like only being on their side and not on his girlfriend's side, which seems kind of strange. Victoria?
And also, she could also be taking something the wrong way. Like maybe the family has a different personality than she's used to, and that's what makes it seem like they don't like her, or they're not interested in the things that she's talking about or something like that. It could be that, and she's just reading it wrong. But because the boyfriend's saying like, you're taking my family away from me, that
aren't they saying that you're that the boyfriend is kind of put in a position where he has to choose between his girlfriend and his family?
Yeah.
So like as the girlfriend, you know, you should not be ever asking him to choose. You know, you should be saying, yeah, go be with them and I'll go do this and I'll meet up with you later. But if he's ultimately not protecting your heart and always sort of throwing you under the bus in the presence of his family, like he has to be able to defend your feelings as well. It just seems like sometimes when couples get together, then the families start warring. I don't see that ever getting better. And dating is kind of an audition for marriage. And if this is what it's going to look like, then I don't. Michael, are you just agreeing? You always look like you're about to talk.
No, I'm just taking it in.
Yeah, like
you know.
you have that actor pose. Like, yeah,
Well,
I could do my line at any moment.
No, I just wonder why the family doesn't like her. That's. I mean, I wonder if if the boyfriend has communicated to her.
That's a good question.
What thing is there? Certain behavior, you know?
Yeah.
Does she walk in the house and not say hello? I don't know.
Is she disrespectful?
Yeah. Is there a reason, or is it if it's, you know, that might be helpful to discuss that. It could be very unfair on the family's part too, that they just don't like her because they don't, you know, they don't want her. There's, you know,
she's
the
a
brother
threat
with anybody.
to.
Yeah, she's a threat to the family and stuff, or could be that too.
Lyric, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of feeling like maybe he is talking to his family and kind of saying some negative things about her because, I mean, like, it just seems, I don't know, or it could just be that they have, like, a thing about him taking her away, her taking him away from the family, but also about the marriage thing. You know, like, if this is a serious relationship and then, you know, you keep taking it and it goes further and then you guys end up getting married, are you going to want that to be, you know, your mother-in-law, is that what it's called? And, like, your sister-in-law? Like, that just doesn't seem like, I honestly think ending this because it feels like, if this is a
just ask him, like, what is it that your family doesn't like about me? If it's anything that I can change, if it's something that it's, like, not changeable, like they just don't like your personality or something, then I'd say that it's probably not the right people you're being with. And, you know?
Ryan?
Yeah, a relationship is a lot bigger than just the two main people who are involved in it. But I would also say how much time you spend around his family and how impactful that is, especially, and whether or not it's a very serious relationship or not. If you spend a lot of time not at the house, then it might not be that big of a deal. If you guys are always hanging out at his house and his family doesn't like you, there's going to be a lot more conflict there. Yeah. And then the one other thing I would add on to that is just that with everything, with friendships, family, everything, I try to be better in other people's houses than I am in my own home, more polite, more respectful, and like go out of my way to do things I wouldn't do, just because those impressions are not permanent. Like they're not.
It's putting him in an awkward position, and it's like saying to you, well, if he's not going to stick up for his wife, then do I want to be married to him?
Yeah.
So those are just really tough decisions. I know there's no easy answer to some of this stuff. Vadim, would you like to read the first question on the second page? They're all anonymous.
Okay, anonymous. I recently broke up with a guy I really liked because I thought that was what he wanted. I think I'm over him because of what a jerk he's being, and I think I'm ready to start talking to someone new. My concern is that I just think I'm ready, and if I get a new relationship, it will just be a rebound. What should I do? How do I know if it's a rebound or not? I think it's if you don't think that you're a rebound or whatever, if the gentleman you're considering to date has some decent respect for you.
I mean, aren't you the best judge of whether or not you're still in love with the other guy?
Yeah.
But I don't think she can tell. I don't know if they're really sure. Yeah, John.
Yeah, I think that if you're in a state where you're thinking you're ready,
If you're intending to kind of replace your old boyfriend or to make him feel jealous or things like that, then it is a rebound. But if your intent is to actually have a nurturing relationship with someone, then it probably isn't a rebound. It's probably a nurturing relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is she can't really tell, or we don't know, can't tell if they're ready for a relationship yet, or if they still like them. And I've been in that place where you're not really sure what you feel. So I think honestly taking some time just for yourself could be a good thing, just because it will kind of let you really be sure with what you're feeling. And then if you're oh, I really like this guy over there, the other guy, be okay, I think I'm ready for a new relationship. But if it's just for the sake of finding a new relationship, then yeah, Josh.
Yeah, I agree with what Lyric said, and I think just adding on to what I had said before, that I think if you're saying, am I ready, you're ready. So.
Yeah, and also, since you described your previous relationship as being a jerk, let someone treat you nicely and kindly and respectfully, and you don't have to call it dating yet. Tell him, I need a little bit of time to get to know you better. Take a week, take a couple of weeks, and you don't always have to give people the answer that they want in that moment. You can say, I need a little bit of time, and if he continues to respect that time, then that's even more points for him. So in terms of being a great guy, which is what you deserve. So the next question is Josh is going to read.
From Anonymous again. This might sound dumb, but I feel as if my appearance affects how people treat me on certain days. If I feel like I don't look good on a certain day, say I'm having a bad hair day and my jeans are baggy, people won't usually smile or approach me. Is it normal to feel this way, or is it too self-centered? I just hate the fact that I'm so worried and checking myself in the mirror every hour to make sure I look approachable.
I feel like I have a couple of things to say to this. First of all, I think I've asked my friends sometimes, okay, can you tell if I look really bad this one day? And they've asked me this too, or do I look the same to you every day? And it's always been, you look the same every day. It doesn't matter if your hair's up, if you're, wearing baggy jeans, or if you're wearing a cute skirt. People see you as the same person all the time, generally, unless you drastically change something. So I think just what you may be noticing in people being different towards you is you feeling more confident about yourself and giving out that positive energy of, oh, I'm confident today, people smile back at you. So I think you could try to experiment with it, and I'm almost done, but being okay, if you feel like you look really bad that day, smiling and then seeing if people react that way back to you.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have, I also sometimes feel like that too, whether if I dress a certain way, whether this person will like me or not. And it's kind of, I guess it's sort of like a self-conscious thing. I wouldn't call it self-centered. I think it's more like self-conscious.
Self-conscious.
Yeah.
Conscious.
Am I saying it wrong?
I think you should be really self-conscious about the way you just said that. I'm teasing.
Well, I kind of had to just test it out myself.
So what happened?
And nothing changed. So I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's depending on the person, maybe their mood's changing or something.
Vadim?
I think checking your appearance in the mirror every hour is more of a self-centered approach to this. That's just going to make you worry more about what other people think about you instead of how you actually want to give yourself out into the world. If you're just constantly worrying about how you look, it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, it can become kind of like a OCD thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where that's distracting you from actually being the best person that you can be. Josh?
Yeah, I think it's normal that you're feeling this way. I think also, like, going off of what everyone else has said, that it's more of a self-conscious thing, and I think that at the end of the day, it's how you are approaching the world and how confident you are in whatever way you look. I do think that we do live in a society that is more image-based, so you probably are right in that some people are it does affect how some people do treat you, but not everyone. Not everybody is that way. Lyric?
And it's kind of like sweet that you want to look approachable and like likable and stuff, but I think that when you're checking it every hour, it becomes kind of excessive and it's like too much. So I think if you can try to be like, I'm, looking how I'm looking today, let's only look at lunch and break instead of going from class to class, always looking at yourself in the mirror, because you'll just feel more like able to forget about it too, and it'll become a habit in that way. So
I think that so many times we can get trapped in addictive behaviors, whether it be superstitions or what have you. If you notice that you're doing something more often than really is necessary to survive as a human on planet Earth, then be strict with yourself and just say, I guess I can't do that, because when I do that, I take it to extremes. So whatever the behavior it is, looking in the mirror can be just as addictive as alcohol or cigarettes or something. So just say, I guess I can't look in the mirror because I don't know how to do it just casually. So look in the mirror in the morning when you get ready, and then don't look in the mirror. And tell your friends, like, if there's something in my teeth, please let me know, because I'm not looking in mirrors. It's just better that way. That's my advice, Victoria.
Yeah, and if it's only a certain person, then maybe they're just too judgmental, you know what I mean?
I think she's reading way too much into it, and that what Lyric said is true, is like, if you don't feel confident, you're not being approachable.
Exactly.
And just if you feel like people aren't approaching you, smile and approach people. I mean, you're half of the relationship between you and anybody.
That's very true.
Exactly. And that's why I think doing an experiment of seeing if you feel really ugly a certain day and still putting out that confident energy, see if like people react the same as when you're wearing something what you think is cuter, because then you'll be like, if people act exactly the same, you'll notice that it's only what you put out and not what you're wearing, because people don't pay attention to that. They're thinking about themselves, about what they're wearing. You're the only one thinking about what you're wearing. I mean, as long as you don't come to school like wearing a trash bag, then people will be like, honey,
there goes tomorrow's outfit.
I know, right?
Some people would make it seem stylish, though.
Exactly.
I know.
There are those people.
I could do
like
it.
I know. Sure,
Absolutely.
Josh, you'd like to
Absolutely.
think that.
Just with a cute
I'm
belt.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So
really sassy.
Vadim over here. Vadim is, by way of full disclosure, has been my comedy student for the past 3 years.
Wow.
Very funny, creative kid. And you're going to SUNY Purchase in the fall to study.
Cinema studies.
And so to prove to you, our valued audience member, give us a call at 888-531-7171-7171. Just keep dialing 71 while it rings, because that'll be kind of entertaining. And tell us about it later. But Vadim, I was Googling your dad, and I came upon a video that you made, which is that's pretty impressive. So we have that clip. We brought a clip for you,
no.
Vadim.
Ooh.
Yeah,
No.
and we set it up. This was a school project, correct?
Yeah, it was. I did it sophomore year. It was the first actual film project I ever did, and it was just like a crappy little biography I had to make of myself.
Nice.
And so we're going to watch this, and then we're going to cut to you, and you're going to tell us whether or not this is still how you feel about yourself. All right, so here we go. Vadim's movie entitled... There it is.
Oh, no. Stop.
That's great.
Like this, I can make a rhyme like this. I can waste some time like this. I can get mine with a twist every time I
That was good. That was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
So, Vadim, this
yeah.
is where we overanalyze the part where you stepped on the milk, and like the milk was, that was kind of like sort of a simile for,
The Great Gatsby.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No.
we were talking earlier about how people overanalyze movies.
Yeah,
So I don't
exactly.
know, like
The
yeah.
milk is the American dream.
Thank
and,
you.
Whew.
I understand myself so much better now. That was really good. What program did you use to edit that?
Adobe Premiere.
All right,
Yeah.
nicely
Nice.
done. All right, we'll look forward to your next release.
Okay.
Who would like to read the next question from Kate Links? Who hasn't read? Ryan.
Well, I have read, but I would like to
Ryan.
read
Read again, please.
because I love
Do
my
it
voice.
in a
Reese.
British accent.
I will
Oh,
not.
no more accents.
No, no.
We had
a talk.
a derailment last week with accents. Yes.
I'm in year 7, and this boy in year 8 has a crush on me. He's asked me out 3 times. I like him, but only as a friend. I really want to stay good friends with him. He's such a fun guy, and I also trusted him with secrets that I don't want him to tell anyone. But now whenever I see him, it's so awkward, and his friends just nudge him and point at me. I just want to be friends, which I've told him several times. How can we stop being awkward around each other?
Joshua.
Heck, no, what the heck? I did not raise my hand, Aaron.
Well, what
Whoa,
were you
that
doing?
was some sad.
I saw it too, Josh.
Calling you out with a
moving
name,
the
though.
mic.
Oh my God, Josh.
Need some aloe vera. For
Don't be
that
friends
burn.
with him. I mean, he's not gonna be your friend, and at the end of the day,
No.
Cut to.
Excuse me, I am talking. I'm finishing my sentence.
The sass is real.
This is really getting fiery.
He's not gonna get it. You've already told him 3 times, and he's not gonna be a friend to you. So move forward.
But the thing
Okay,
is,
Lyric,
was
go.
it me? Is it
Yeah,
me?
you and then Ryan. Yeah.
Thank you. But she wants, or he wants, we don't know, wants to be
She.
to be his friend. So I mean, I think like,
And he
okay,
wants
you
more than
might,
friends.
okay, but these things can kind of die down if
No.
you play it correctly. If you play it correctly, so you would have to be kind of like take a little while from this person and then come back and like slowly just hang out more and more and more, and then he may start to just kind of feel more comfortable with you and make it feel more like friendly. I don't think that just because he likes you means that you have to totally end the friendship, because it sounds like you enjoy it. So I think just being like, is it okay for me to hang out with him and he may be still liking me for a while, or is it okay, do I just want to totally end it? Because those are kind of your options here. Yeah, Ryan?
No, I agree with you. I just think you also have to be aware of his side of it and not leading him on and not like drawing him along and making sure and like keeping him around, because even though you like him as a friend, if he's continually around you and feeling like something more than that, it's going to like hurt him in other areas of his life. And also, just if you didn't tell him the 3rd time, tell him the 4th time if he asks that you won't tell him the next time, that like he has to stop asking,
Ooh,
because
that's
someone
good.
can't ask you 3. After,
Yeah.
I hope you told him I'm not going to tell you a 4th time, but if he asks a 4th time, you're not telling him a 5th time.
I also think that if she continues, or he or she continues to be friends with this person, they're going to continue to push their limits.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I agree that he's just going to continue to push her limits, because this guy's probably thinking like, oh, like the friend zone is a real thing and I just need to break that. But I don't know. This guy just seems like, I don't know. He wants what he wants, and he's just going to try to get to that.
He's very determined.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said, and I think what Lyric had said about how, man, I just lost my thought.
You know
But,
what? You can use humor.
Said
and
many
you can,
things,
you know,
Jen.
like, because it
Shush.
becomes kind of just silly, and so you can be silly with him and just like, we are only friends. I love you,
Well,
but
I
you know,
think-
you can,
Okay, don't say all of it.
Oh, I remember what it is
as a
now.
brother, just keep repeating.
Is that
whatever-
I-
Yeah, yeah.
just change your
Use
voice
the
a
as
bit
a
and
brother,
then-
as the
Yeah.
brother
I re-
line, and then he'll be like,
yeah,
okay.
brother,
Then he'll
brother, brother.
cry.
Go.
You're my brother. What do you
Okay, I remember
know?
what it. She said that you said that she enjoys the relationship. I think it's because she only knows who he is when he's trying to pursue her. Like,
Ah.
she might not even like him when he's like, guys will act differently towards you if they like you, and if he's been trying to pursue her and it's still that way, he's probably not the same friend, and he won't be the same friend after he gets it in his head that you don't really want.
Yeah, and don't tease him or like poke him, or you know what I mean? Like, don't like only be his friend because he's giving you attention or anything. It's gonna be very hard in the future to have to like push him away if needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Like when people like attention or that kind of attention.
Mm-hmm. Lyric.
Here's one big reason why I'm thinking, and she mentioned this, why I'm thinking maybe she wants to remain friends with him is because he's keeping some secrets of hers, and that's kind of like, I think that could be a big thing in this, because I understand, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like he would probably not release those secrets. I would like to think that, because I feel like that would be kind of out of context, but it could also be like revenge getting back at her for not dating him. So I don't know, I think you may have to consider, do I want to like keep being bothered by this, or do I risking, you know, like, or not like end it and risk him telling these secrets, you know what I mean? Like kind of weigh out your options.
I hope he wouldn't be that kind of a person, because
I don't think he would be, though. I feel like he wouldn't be.
That would be reason
Not
to
if you
not
really
be
hate
a
her.
friend. Not
Yeah.
say, well, I guess we can't be friends if you're
Yeah.
trying to blackmail me into dating you,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, I don't think he would release secrets just on the basis that you wouldn't date him. I think that if you said something mean to him, though, or hurt his feelings, that would be a different story. So you can generally get out of any like social situation in a polite way and a respectful way, and things will usually go well.
And, you know, this is not the last time that someone's going to want to date you. You could be in the workplace and there could be a coworker who's just expecting, you know, this or that, or standing too close to you, or what, you know, there's all these awkward things that we humans have to do. And it's best if you learn the language to say what your truth is and to have other people respect your truth and to not have to apologize for it. Victoria?
I had something that I'm kind of like.
Oh, it's just in the air tonight.
Yep.
I accept and I understand. Our last question is from Anonymous, who writes, thoughts on teacher/student relationships. What if the student is still in school? What if the student has graduated already? So I don't know if they're talking about college
Yeah,
or high
that's
school.
what came into my head. Right?
And also, are they talking
About
they're talking about like
friendships or-
friendships
I think
or
they're
like
talking about
romantic?
dating.
They're talking about
Oh, well,
dating.
then no. But like,
And no on every level?
yeah.
Ryan?
I would say, yeah, at every level, if you're still in, like, if you haven't graduated, no. And if at, like, the college level, if you've graduated, you're not in that class anymore, then that might be a different story. But generally speaking, like, definitely in high school, like, I don't care what the situation is, no, while you're in the class, and same with college. But then, like, I don't know, in college, once you're, like, an adult and you're kind of out there, and if that person's not your teacher anymore.
You know what? There's still this power dynamic that's in place.
Yeah.
And so even if you've graduated college and you're now 22 and it's a professor, I would say that at least 5 or 8 years have to go by before you can date.
Yeah,
somebody
okay,
that
I would
you
agree with
ever
that.
were- If you ever were
I
their
would
teacher.
agree with that.
Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with everything that Ryan said. And I think that, I mean, I read this question originally as like friendship relationships. Then it was like, oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God,
what I
maybe if
thought
it
too.
was the other. But I think friendships are perfectly fine. Like I have relationships with my teachers that were in high school, and not really college so much, just my high school teachers.
Yeah, and they become mentors, and that's healthy. Victoria?
And it, to me, when I read this question, it almost seemed like the teacher was asking this question. So I was like,
God.
it's like,
That would be awful.
Vadim?
Undercover teachers. And
like, what if it was like a real young teacher?
No.
But still,
If you were, because if you're, well, the first
like
part is like,
Pretty
if you-
Little Liars.
Go on Tinder. There are other places to find people.
if they're in the class, it just like ruins everything in that sense.
Yeah.
Outside of like the awkwardness of that and the dynamic that creates, like if there are other people who are supposed to be on the same level as like you as a student, and then you're in a relationship with a teacher, that's like just a very, I don't want to say unfair, but just like not okay connection to have that your peers don't have.
Victoria?
Wait, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think they watched Pretty Little Liars and thought that this was going to work out.
That is so creepy.
I really do think
they
so.
probably do.
That's the one thing where I just had to stop watching that show, because it was just, they were like, I thought they were glamorizing that relationship between the kid.
I don't know.
Vadim.
This happened at my school this year, where an assistant principal had a relationship with a student that had graduated a year before. And it wasn't like a friendship relationship, as you could guess. And the principal was married to another teacher who went to the school. Both of them left, and we haven't seen them since. I think they got a divorce, and it like ruined both of their lives. So, and all advice that I have, just stay away from it, because it's probably going to mess up your life, their lives, and the lives of the people around them.
Yeah, it's really kind of confusing what is supposed to be the dynamic between teachers and students to bring any kind of romance or flirting into that sacred, trusted relationship is just really not. I'm not okay with it on any level, Lear.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, definitely not even friends, really. I mean, unless it's like really a mentor, but that's still not really friends in my opinion when you're in school. It's just, there's nothing. And I know people that, you know, have this like situation. It's fairly common for a kid to have a crush on a teacher. And sometimes, you know, the teacher may have feelings for the student, but, you know, like they don't do anything about that in most situations, and then some they do. But it's like, definitely not while you're in school. And then after, I would say waiting a long time because it's still your teacher. There's still that dynamic. And also, like, okay, definitely you can be friends. You know how there's that thing where you can friend your teacher on Facebook after, you know, and social media after you graduate school.
Oh, is that generally the rule of thumb?
Yeah, that's always the rule. You can't be, like, it
It's
can
not always the rule.
I mean, that's...
Generally not while you're still
No,
in the
you-
program or school that they're involved in.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
do it at the
So-
same
Did
time.
you ever have
yeah.
a crush on a teacher, Michael? Because I feel like you can have crushes on your teacher, but they just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to just kind of
I
go,
don't think
okay.
I did. No.
You didn't? Did you, Vadim?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think
I'm not
I mean, the
afraid
thing
to
is, you're
admit
sitting
it.
there and
Everyone
you're, and
has.
you're just staring at the person.
I had a
So-
student teacher who was 18, and that was like a year older than me. I thought that was like kind of sexy. I don't know. Like she's like right on the board with a
How do you-
Sharpie and whatever.
How do you have an 18-year-old student teacher? Did she go to college early?
hmm Yeah, she did.
I mean, she's kind of in your age group, so I kind of.
That's like so
yeah,
close.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If they're like 30 and you're 18, like...
So at what point can he date the 18-year-old student teacher? Like how many
Once,
years
I would
past?
say-
When she's not his student teacher.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like feasible. I thought I could like get there with a lot of hard work, but I don't know. It just seems like a dangerous road to go. I know my advice prior to this story has been like against that, but I don't know. You can get there if you want. I don't know, just as long as they're not like married, probably.
Yeah,
Well,
they can't
and-
be
Everything's
I
circumstantial.
feel like it has to be like
2 years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 2 years right here.
2 years, and also do you mean the difference between their
Well, I
ages
mean,
or
like,
how long after?
Let's say that Vadim was 15 when he had that crush, and now he's 18 and the teacher is 20. He still has to go another 2 years. That's what I'm. That's how I'm
I have
gonna
to
put
catch
it.
up.
Yeah, before you can bring her home to mom and dad, like another 2 years, and then I think we're gold right there. But yeah, so
How do I introduce? Like, this is Mrs. Goldstein.
She writes on the board with Sharpies.
Yeah.
this is the best. All right. Any other teacher crushes? Anyone want to reveal? I had a crush on college professor for sure.
Me
But-
too.
But I would not have wanted him to do anything with that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just supposed to be a one-way thing. That's how I was comfortable with it.
No.
No? Never?
I'm homeschooled, so no. Sorry.
I think that's